Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Let's do the local sports roundup brought to you by Amundsen's Appliances. Shall we start with hockey, Brandon?
Let's do it.
With postseason. Last night, we had Memorial, Chi-High, Menominee, and Hudson all advancing?
Yes.
Last night. So I see Chi-High put up 13 goals.
They did. On
Last night?
DC Everest, yes.
Yeah. It was DC Everest who beat North, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So Tuesday night, it'll be Chi-High versus Memorial. Ooh. Spoiler alert, that's where I'm going to be. And another half of that section is Stevens Point and Hudson. So the top four teams, I think the teams people probably expected to kind of be the Final Four there.
Right.
And, I kind of talked about it a little bit before when we were just talking about that section in general for D1, that whoever comes out of that section is darn sure going to earn it.
Right.
And those are four state-ranked good teams. And it's just going to come down to who plays best on that given night because these teams have kind of beat each other a little bit.
Right.
I mean, Chippewa won both games against Memorial during the regular season. Second one, which was I believe last week, went to overtime. So I mean, Memorial has been right there, but Chippewa's playing really, really well. Especially ever since a couple early season losses to Stevens Point and University School of Milwaukee, they've kind of found that right combination. They found found what works for them, and they've been hard to handle.
Right, exactly. So, from the girls' side, do we still have any local teams?
Two of them play tonight. Actually, okay. Chippewa Falls Menominee hosts Eau Claire area tonight.
Okay.
In Chippewa in the first round of the girls' hockey tournament. That's actually where I'll be. So the winner of that game will get Big Rivers champion St. Croix Valley next Tuesday. So. Gotcha.
Okay, so we got that. Still out there too. Yeah, it's a smaller bracket. I got it up now. It finally just loaded up for me. So, so we got. Because we got. Hayward beat Medford and Riblake. It looks like last night. Darn it! All right. Basketball. We've got. Let's start off with boys basketball.
Shout out to Eau Claire Memorial clinching a share of the Big Rivers title last night with a win. They can win that outright with a win next week against Chippewa.
Okay.
That's a team we've talked about at times. Just kind of had to work through some injuries and stuff, but still heading into the postseason, should probably get a pretty solid seed this weekend. And looking to make a run.
Right.
Last year they were part of that section that just had so many upsets in it, and I'm sure they're kind of looking to forge a run this year. And they've even being less than 100%. They've certainly got the talent to make some noise and win some games.
Yeah. So we will know the brackets on Sunday.
That's the hope.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there anything that they're still doing it on Sunday?
They are. They are. Last week there was the WA ran some issues with the girls bracket because they had some that were done wrong.
Oh, okay.
Apparently some teams were just forgotten about.
Oh.
Which is not good.
No.
So, they announced them, but, the ones that they had posted or something were wrong. There were some issues, so hopefully those are ironed out for Saturday or Sunday for the boys.
Gotcha. Okay. Some other scores, North fell to River Falls last night. Altoona defeated Amory in boys basketball. Girls basketball, we had Altoona falling just slightly to Baldwin-Woodville, 32-31. So Baldwin-Woodville wins the middle border.
Champ, middle border. They're the 1 seed, and we'll talk a little bit about that for girls basketball for that D3 section, that section that includes Bloomer in it. So
okay.
At least the top half of the section. The bottom half is where you've got Elk Mound and Altoona and Aquinas and some others. So
just to kind of wrap up for boys basketball, is there any of what maybe some conference championship still up in the air, or what's maybe like Cloverbelt look like
Western
right now?
Cloverbelt, the Bloomers got that wrapped up. They wrapped that up last Friday. So that's taken care of. Dunn St. Croix is still they're still battling at the top there. You got Durand, Arkansas, who's one game up on Elk Mountain and Spring Valley. So that's a battle that's going to go down to probably to the end of next week. 3 teams within a game of each other. So and those are the 3 top teams. Durand and Spring Valley D4, Elk Mountain D3. They should be seeded pretty well when it comes to the postseason as well. But yeah, otherwise I mentioned Big Rivers. Memorial's got a share. Hudson can still get a share, but needs some help to get there. Western Cloverbelt, Bloomer's got that sealed up. So if you go down to the Dairyland, you've got Melrose Mindoro who's up in the large, still a pretty competitive one. So that one could still go a couple different directions there as well.
Okay.
And then the small Dairyland, you've got Cochrane Fountain City, who's having a really good year. Eau Claire Emmanuel and Alma Center Lincoln still kind of battling each other out. Cochrane Fountain City's up a game, though. Cochrane Fountain City's had a good year, 14-6 overall, been getting some attention statewide as far as some rankings. Same with the Eau Claire Emmanuel at different times too. So
okay.
And Cochrane Fountain City and Eau Claire Emmanuel play tonight, so that's a big one tonight in the small Dairyland. Really, Cochrane Fountain City can kind of I believe you can clinch or put some distance on with a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we move over to girls?
Yeah.
Basketball. We know the brackets that came out on Sunday and such. Kind of going through it. Division I, Chi High, a 16 seed going up against Appleton West.
Correct. I believe that's like the third year in a row that those two teams have played in their opening round.
Really?
Yes. The last 2 years have been in Appleton, and Appleton West has won. So
okay. This one's at Chi High.
This time the Terrors have to make the long trip.
Yeah.
Over.
And then winner of that gets the 1 seed, though, Hortonville.
Yes. Polar Bears.
Yeah.
Very good.
So we got that. Then Memorial girls are a 4 seed. They're going to be taking on Oshkosh North. So we got some Western Wisconsin versus Fox Valley matchups
and
with this one.
In the larger, especially like D1, that's kind of how those sections pair up.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're covering more ground, because there's fewer D1 schools.
Right.
So you're going to get those matchups from further away versus like in Division 4 and Division 5.
And then in the bottom end of that bracket, we got North, who's a 15 seed, taking on DC Everest. The winner of that faces a familiar team, Hudson, as the 2 seed. So
Right.
Some BRC action potentially there. So that's Division 1 to Division 2. Let's go. We got Menominee as a 1 seed, where they will face the winner of Wausau East or River Falls. That would be next Friday, a week from today here. So Rice Lake's a 3 seed, where they will either face New Richmond or Medford on that one. We've got, we're just kind of scrolling down here a little bit more. Is that kind of it for our...
Kind of, yeah. Menominee clinched a share of the conference, the Big Rivers title. They can win it outright tonight if they pick up a win in River Falls.
Okay.
Enough for you mentioned. Otherwise, you got Hudson Memorial both a game back. I mean, those teams all 3 teams have kind of been traded wins all throughout the year here. So.
Mm-hmm. To Division 3, shall we? Baldwin Woodville's the 1 seed. They will face the winner of either Bloomer or Northwestern. In that one, St. Croix Falls is a 5. They will face potentially Ellsworth if they defeat Osceola. Spooner and Barron going at it. Spooner's 11. Barron is a 6 seed. St. Croix Central is a 7 seed going up against Amory. If they win, they will face Somerset. Elk Mount, a 1 seed, going down towards the bottom portion of this bracket. Arcadia is a 5 seed. Altoona is a 3 seed. They will take on the winner of Black River Falls and Mauston. Stanley Boyd, a 10 seed as well.
You're going to Viroqua.
Viroqua, yeah.
Yeah, that bottom half of that section is interesting because you got Elk Mountain, who's unbeaten, done St. Croix champs. I mean, really playing at a high level right now. You got La Crosse Aquinas, who was the runner-up in D4 last year, moving up to D3 this year. Sammy Davis, brother of Jordan and Jonathan Davis, plays for Aquinas. That's a team that's had some significant departures from last year. They figured it out. You mentioned Altoona, the 3 seed. That's a good, solid team. They've had some state ranking throughout the year for Coach Michelle Poplinski. That's going to be really interesting to see who emerges from that bottom half of that section.
Yeah. Division 4, I don't know why, but it seems like Division 4 always has some unique potential matchups in this thing. So we got Fall Creek as a 1 seed. They would face the winner of Boyceville and Unity. Colfax is a 5, taking on Grantsburg. Then you got Regis as a 3. They would take on the winner of Cumberland versus Shell Lake. Durand, Arkansas is a 2. They would take on the winner of either Augusta or Mondovi. Then at the bottom, you got McDonald as a 1 seed. They would face either Ladysmith or Marathon. Abbotsford and Colby going up against each other in a 5 and 12.
Not a long travel trip for either of those teams.
And then the winner of that one doesn't have to travel for that long either because they'd face Stratford.
There you go.
Then Cameron's a 3 seed. They would face either Chequamegon or Cadott. And then you've got Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser taking on Spencer. That winner would take on Phillips. So you got some local teams there that are really highly ranked.
Yes, yeah, that D4 section has got a lot of good teams in it.
Fall Creek, are they kind of on a path maybe to face McDonald Central, you think?
We might get a rematch. They're going to see some good teams before them, but Fall Creek's really on a roll. We talked last week about them beating McDonald, but that's a team that is really, it's a younger team, but they've kind of started to figure out kind of who's what where here in the second half. Tomorrow night, both McDonald and Fall Creek will be in action at the Cloverbelt Crossover over or down in Osseo. Fall Creek plays Owen Withy in the second place game, and then McDowell plays Neilsville in the first place game.
Okay, interesting. Did I miss Neilsville? And are they?
They're in a different section.
Are they in a different section? Okay.
But yeah, so it's possible you could get Neilsville and one.
Oh yeah, they're right there on the other one.
Yeah,
yep.
and get one of those two teams, be it Fall Creek or McDonald Estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're facing either Luther or Westby. It looks like the winner of that one. So, to Division 5, there's no buys in Division 5. It looks like.
No, there's not. There are very few of them.
Yeah, so they get going all right away on Tuesday. You've got Clear Lake as a 1 seed going up against Birchwood. Just kind of going to Siren versus Luck in a 5-12. New Auburn taking on Spring Valley. Turtle Lake taking on Glenwood City. Clayton, Solon Springs, Eau Claire, Emmanuel Lutheran taking on Frederick. Webster, also a 2 seed on here. Bruce is a 16. Gilman's a 9 taking on Lake Holcomb.
That's a close. Yeah, that's a just nice little
hop,
trip.
Skip down 64 over there. What else do we got? Cornell's a 14 seed taking on Drummond. And Thorpe, a 15, taking on Owen with a 2 seed.
Another close drive. You can choose to take 29, or you can take Highway X.
That's right. Take some of the back roads over there, too. So, anything jump out to you with the Division 5 bracket?
I just think there's a lot of opportunity there. You know, McDowell had won the section the last 3 years. So obviously that opens up with them. They're up in D4 now, so that opens up that opportunity. I think you can make the case for a bunch of different teams, which is going to make for a really good section there to see how that develops.
Mm-hmm. So those games all, again, girls basketball for the postseason starts next Tuesday. So wrestling, just to kind of wrap some things up here. Wrestling, I know we had some teams clinching team states. Menominee going for the first time in school history. Medford was close, but was it St. Croix Falls or Central they fell to?
Falls. They're very
Falls,
good.
Yeah.
They're up in D2 now. They were in D3 the last several years, and they were always good. Great program.
Now, individuals, though, too, also clinch spots.
Right. It can be a little bit confusing. So here, regionals last weekend, you had regionals in that your top teams from regionals advanced to team sectionals, and your top individuals advanced to individual sectionals. So it kind of splits. And then you had Tuesday night, you had the team sectional, which Menominee defeated DC Iverson Hudson to punch their ticket to state. Now, that team state is not for 2 weeks yet.
Okay.
So you still have all these wrestlers that advanced to sectionals, and for Menominee it was 12 out of the 14. So pretty much everybody going to have the chance to go for the individual state tournament, which is next weekend in Madison.
So there's potential that, for anybody who doesn't know, wrestlers could wrestle an individual and then the following week state or the team state too.
There will be, and there will be some.
Yeah.
I mean, Menominee will get some wrestlers to state individually, and a lot of other teams as well. So
the individuals hoping to make it to state, this is the weekend.
Correct. Tomorrow is go time for that, and you're also going to have girls jumping in here too, because there's no regionals for girls, but they'll be joining in for sectionals now. So it'll be a busy day on the mat.
Absolutely. So, and I know we got swimming. That's
boys swimming at state this week. Gymnastics, you got conference meets, and the Big Rivers one is tomorrow over in River Falls.
All right.
So yeah, we're getting down to it.
We are. College level here, just to kind of wrap things up here. We got swimming and diving WIAC championships going on here too. We've got for Blue Gold Gymnastics, they're going to be taking on Oshkosh. Wrestling. For Blue Gold Wrestling, or WIAC Wrestling altogether, but for the Blue Golds, it begins tomorrow. WIAC Championships, their fantastic season. Tim Fader and his entire team, high expectations for this team. So, also we got indoor track and field. It's going to be at Oshkosh. Excuse me.
My gosh.
The big one though too tomorrow. We got Blue Gold women's hockey taking on number 1 River Falls. If you remember, their previous game went to overtime. Blue Golds fell on that one, but big rivalry game coming up between the Blue Golds and River Falls. Basketball-wise, for the Blue Golds, if you want to catch maybe one more game at Zorn Arena, the men's team, senior night, takes on lacrosse tomorrow. The women's team will be taking on lacrosse there too. So, stout-wise, you've got just kind of looking across the board here. Stout-wise, like for basketball, if you're taking a look at that, especially, the women's team making a run here as of late, but they're going to be taking on Platteville Platteville, and then we got the WIAC tournament that starts next week for basketball too. So pay attention to that. I know for hockey, they've got is it Northland? Let me bring it up here. I think it's Northland. They've got Northland today and tomorrow. So that's your local sports roundup, brought to you by Amundsen's Appliances. All right, Brandon. The Carpet City Flooring Center local spotlight. Lots to probably highlight here, but if you had to narrow it down to one, who are you rolling with?
I think we're going to go with Menominee Wrestling. First time in program history, going to state. 12 wrestlers wrestling tomorrow at sectionals. Like I said, I anticipate a good chunk of them are going to be going to individual state. I mean, that's a program that dominated Big Rivers competition, which is not easy to do, especially with teams like Hudson that's always there.
North. North has got.
You've got good teams in that conference, and it's just and they've had good wrestlers over the years, but it's just obviously a team is such an you just need a top to bottom roster, and
it is difficult for a team to advance.
It is
fully, isn't it?
It is like everything has to be clicking at the right time for you, and it is right now for Menominee. So they're going to go to Marshfield tomorrow, and they're going to be able to wrestling with a lot of confidence because they know, I don't even know if they're necessarily going to have a ton of pressure on them because. They know they're going to team state, and that's great. And you always want to go to individual as well, but you don't necessarily have that for the seniors, oh my gosh, this could be my last match kind of a thing.
Right.
And I think that's just going to make them even better.
Right.
That is a powerhouse Mustangs program right now.
Absolutely.
Do a lot of good things.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember when I was in high school, and we had great wrestlers. I mean, we had the shout out to Crass Train.
I was going to say
Crasses, but we had Higgins. Gangler, I'm going to miss a bunch of them. And they made it finally to Team State the senior year. I mean, it was a solid, really good, but it's hard to get everybody.
You can't really have any weak links because it's team scoring. And, one of the things one of the things I learned about wrestling, the big way that you win, duels, is you don't get pinned. And that was something I noticed with Menominee Tuesday night is they did a really good job because if you get pinned, the other team gets 6 points. But if it's a decision, it's 3 points. And that adds up. If you look at any college wrestling, you'll see why the score is always 20-18. There's not a ton of pins because you don't have a lot of, usually everyone just has a bunch of really good wrestlers.
Right. Yep.